Hey guys, it's the gear today. Mickey Lee Soapworks is the soap today. Unforgiven, a great western type scent, woody, birch tar, fun stuff like that. We're going to put another use on the Astra Platinum, and this is the etched version, the laser etched and not the printed. And I'm finally getting that to the same usage level as my printed version so that I can do a direct comparison between those two. Mickey Lee is a company that has closed its doors, but it's a nice soap base, and I love this scent. This is a brush. Fortunately, I've had it soaking now for maybe 20-25 minutes, and so I think that's going to be plenty to help these tips to start out nice and soft. This is a B13 knot from Declaration Grooming, and it's in a handle by BotiBrush. It's over on the AliExpress website. And I decided to put this blade in another razor, the Fat Boy. This is a 61, I believe, and I believe we're getting toward the end of when the Fat Boy had its time. I think maybe 59 to 63 or 58 to 62 or something like that is it. You can tell, obviously, you've got the lettering, and that, of course, will tell you the date. This is a G1. You've also got, there's a difference here. There'll be two little cutouts opposite each other on this little interior ring right there that do say that it's a different one from the earlier ones. If it's got the cutouts, you can actually use a little tool to unscrew that piece for much easier disassembly. This one you kind of have to crimp and uncrimp whenever you do any kind of maintenance. So, the laser etched Astra Platinum, it's been giving me just a touch of kind of an annoying feel. It's not nearly as nice. See if that's the side with the etching. No, I don't think it is. There we go. Now we see the etching. Somebody mentioned in the comments of a recent shave, setting 3 is what we're going with, that they thought the laser etching was a mark that they were counterfeits. I believe that that's not true. I believe that they did switch their manufacturing process to includes laser etching, and I believe there's another blade out there that has done that as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if many blades switch to that. It's got to be cheaper in the long run to have a laser rather than some kind of printing mechanism. All right. Mickey Lee is not a top-notch brand, but this scent, kind of like I put it near Chiseled Face, where when you get a scent that you love, that's really what matters, and it's a nice base, very slick, gets the job done. It's just not kind of luxurious and decadent as some of the other ones out there. All right, get my face wet. Continuing to use this brush, the B13, because they're already out with a B14, I just noticed. And I wonder if maybe this B13 might be a nice batch for me to, I could potentially get it in a smaller handle, then it would have a little bit less backbone. So I want to work this brush for a little while because, at some point the 13 is going to run out and it'll be hard to come by. All right, so I just want to evaluate it. I do have the fine Accoutrements Splash. This is the Italian Citrus, and my family, I believe, liked it the other day. So I scooped it, as you can see, and then you can see how long it's been since I've used it with this little gap around the soap. All right. As usual, I'm going to shake a lot of the water out, and then we'll load up. And right around the 35 mark looks like a good place to start. I'm going to keep an eye on it. So if we went to 55, that would be 20 seconds. So 05 would be 30 seconds. I got a feeling we should at least go to 30 seconds and kind of review it. Got a little bit of kind of airy, bubbly stuff coming up, so that probably means we've got enough water in the in play. So we're about to hit 30 seconds. Let's keep them going a little further since I haven't used this guy in a while. So if we went to 15, that would be 40 seconds. I bet that's what we'll do. And obviously with more concurrent uses, you can reduce the load time. Just cleaning up the threading of the puck. Got 40 milliliters of water standing by to add in, and I'm not planning on adding all that. We'll just see how much it takes. So the scents on this guy, we've got birch tar being the upfront main note. And he's got some neat supporting cast members. Rosewood and sandalwood are both there to kind of help out with other woody notes. I wouldn't mind even if the rosewood were a little stronger, because boy, the birch tar it would be interesting to see how it played with the sweetness of the rosewood. We've also got amber in here. Pretty sure I can smell a little bit of the amber, but I'm also pretty sure that I would not have noticed it if I hadn't have seen it in print. My nose is not that well educated. We've also got patchouli and caramel. Those are supporting notes. If caramel's there, it's very minimal. The patchouli is there to kind of ground it, and the patchouli is so often added in with a scent profile to help out. Now, we don't have a lot of lather coming up right now. Let's add a good bit of water. Right now we've got 15 milliliters added in. And let's see what happens if it drowns the lather or if it wakes up more soap that's in the brush. And then we can proceed once we know the answer to that. Looks like it's not really waking up the lather. So that means we need to load more. So I'm going to try to get some of the kind of wet lather out of there. We needed to load a little bit longer. And then, as usual, I find that adding a little bit of water on the soap helps to pull more product out. Let's load for another 15 seconds. So we'll go to from 06 up to 21. Because that is kind of a wimpy looking lather right there. Needs more of this stuff. Now I personally think, and this seems like a pretty educated guess, that there's a curve on loading a soap. Especially when you haven't used in, let's say, over a month. There's a time frame that kind of needs to be the base that you always add. And it's a time frame that includes just kind of getting the water into the soap to where it can start releasing its contents. And maybe that takes 10 seconds. It doesn't take that long if you are using that soap every day, but we're again talking about a little bit longer idle time. Okay, so what if it took, let's say for argument, it takes 10 seconds to get the soap in a position where it's going to be able to start releasing its contents to the brush. Well, from that point on, that's almost when you need to start counting seconds to say, 5 seconds, versus maybe if you use 10 seconds at that point, then and you want to reduce it, then maybe you drop down to 5 seconds. Meaning that, and here's the example. Let's say I load for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and I discover it's more than I need. Well, you see, if it takes 10 seconds to start to kind of warm up the soap to where you can start pulling stuff off, then you're, in essence, your kind of a net load time, your real load time is 20 seconds. And so then if you want half as much lather, my whole point here is that instead of taking that 30 seconds and dividing it in half to make it 15, it's probably better to divide that overage amount in half. That 20 seconds after the 10, take that, divide that in half. If you want half as much lather. That's kind of my point. And it seems to be logical. Well, we've got what looks like a nice little lather here. Let's just go with it. We have added, let's add a little bit more. We've got about 18 milliliters of water in there. Let's work it just a little bit longer. Now obviously the overloaders aren't really going to even care about my little thought about that kind of initial time that you almost don't want to care about when you're tracking your load time, because they're loading for like a minute, minute and a half anyway, and it's just not going to matter. But when you're like me and you discover that 30 seconds might be too much, you start reducing, then it's going to be a little bit more of a realistic number. It's going to be a very relevant concept. If I load for 20 seconds, for instance, and I want half as much lather, then maybe I don't divide that 20 in half to make a 10-second load. Maybe with that soap, that sounds like maybe 5 seconds might be that intro get ready period. And so maybe to get half as much lather, you'd go from 20-second load to maybe 15. Something like that, maybe. So as you can see, we don't have super long stretchy peaks here. It's got some structure, but this is the kind of soap that it is. And so let's just use it the way we see it right there. I'm gonna get my face wet and get ready for the first pass. I broadcast a day or two after the fact, and so right now, a few hours ago, we finished trick-or-treating. And the kids, my son went as something in some kind of Minecraft character, and my little girl went as a like princess witch combo thing. Oh no, not a witch, a vampiress, something like that. Oh, look at that! We've kind of flushed out this lather a little bit. I forgot I was dealing with a high density brush, and I probably should have left it a little thicker, not taking it quite so far. That's all right. We'll just go back to the bowl, get a little bit more lather. Now, if you go back twice to the bowl and you don't quite have the lather you want, your formula may be good. It may just be your like oils on your face or something like that. And you can keep pulling from your bowl, but at this point, I feel like it's better to save the bowl for a little bit later. So we've obviously got something on my face a little bit too wet. So just a few swirls in the bowl, and we can kind of thicken up what we have on our face. This brush has enough backbone to where it is taking a little bit of effort to kind of keep it in a nice, comfortable, plush splay. So in that sense, those 3 bands and that kind of stuff, they are at an advantage there. This seems very similar to the B9A, but it's got softer tips. And maybe a touch more relaxed backbone. All right, nice. Tell you, this lather here is probably going to end up being noted as a lather that's on the wet side of the perfect zone, or maybe a little bit too wet. We'll just see how it goes down. What I did 30 and then 15 seconds initially. Yeah, so 40. Now, what did I do? I think I did 40 seconds and then 15. I believe. I can't remember. Darn it. All right, well, setting 3, Astra Superior Platinum. Ooh, that's nice. That's working very well. Oh, and it's nice and slick. Man, this razor has got great movement here. That may be kind of a wimpy looking lather, but it is doing a great job. Skin feels very protected. No tugging at all from the blade. This is definitely the best this blade has felt. I used this blade with a Wolfman razor, which is more expensive than the Fat Boy by quite a bit, and this is just proof that you don't always get better performance when you pay more for a razor. It's just, that's just the way subjectivity is, and the blades and all that stuff. You just never know what's going to be the best match, and it could be something that's less expensive. During the break here, I went back for a few swirls on the soap puck, and then I'm just kind of integrating that, whatever's in my brush and whatever's in my bowl, and hopefully I have resulted in something a little on the thicker side. It looks very nice. Man, look at that huge splay. Oh yeah. Nice. That feels really good. Oh, and that scent. That's terrific. Mickey Lee was run by a lady, I believe. And there were definitely some scents that I thought were too ladylike in that collection, but pretty sure this tub of Unforgiven I may have actually bought directly from Mickey Lee, in terms of like their website, instead of buying it used. I actually purchased a box containing several Mickey Lee soaps like 2 weeks before they announced that they were closing their doors, and so I feel very fortunate. They have some nice scents like Jurate, Souk, that I really, really do enjoy. It's another one where, Barrister Man probably has more stuff that I enjoy, but I think there's enough stuff in the Mickey Lee repertoire where, if some magician came and said, you can only use Mickey Lee soaps, now I'll take whatever pucks you have and I'll multiply them so they last forever. Will you be happy with that shaving scenario? And I'm pretty sure the answer would be yes. With Jefferson Square, I think, is a neat lavender. Reunion is this cool green type soap. And then they've got this one, Cape Verde. It's this wonderful scent with like orchid and stuff in it, and some other things that are playing with it in a kind of a darker floral way. That I just really enjoyed that. Face feels terrific. And the last pass. Charge up the brush by shoving the lather into the bristles, and look at that. Feels terrific. I can definitely see a difference from the start of today's shave by soaking for 20 minutes. I soaked for 10 minutes in the previous use of this brush, and it had a lot more backbone. Oh, this lather. Oh, it's nice right now. That's just really slick. So how does it feel to the touch? What kind of contact slickness might we have? I mean, that looks good. A little bit of resistance in terms of cushion. But just like chiseled face, it leaves this slick, not all that creamy, but still quite slick layer on your skin that stays resident, and it stays helpful and gives nice razor movement and protection. Now let's see if by the end of this shave, this Astra Superior Platinum ends up giving me a little tiny bit of irritation, which is what it's been doing with some other razors. Oh, I mean, it's like gliding on ice right now. So crazy slick, because the razor has done some good cutting, so there's not a lot of stubble to hold it back. Sometimes a simple chin lift will tighten up your neck skin well enough. Sometimes a little hold is what you need to do. You can see how wet this lather is, how it's dripping around. Nice. Oh man, that is a close, very close cut. Very comfortable at the same time. Nice job. I love the birch tar soaps. Chiseled Face, I think, has a birch tar soap out there. But caramel is often a very enjoyable scent for me. Barrister and Man has Diamond, which has a little bit of caramel in it. Baseball type scent. The amber is coming out a little bit more. The birch tar is backing off just a touch now. The sandalwood pairs really well. Seamless might be a good word with the birch tar, since they're both woody scents. But it's hard to pull it away and hard to isolate it. If you were to say, does it have any sandalwood in it? I don't know that I can say if I can perceive it. Knowing that there's some caramel in there, I can smell a note of it, but again, it might be the power of suggestion, or I might not be able to pull it out otherwise. So really a wonderful, wonderful scent. Well blended. Each of those bits give it something interesting and different, and keep it kind of developing a little bit instead of just a straight birch tar scent. I'm really glad I picked it for today. That worked out. So does my face have any kind of minor irritation? It actually might, just a touch, but it's almost enough to where I don't even want to really bother with it. I don't even want to like mention it or think about it, that sort of thing. And so maybe this blade continues to bother me just a little bit. So here's that fine Italian citrus. It's alcohol based, and so it could wake up a little bit, like sterling sometimes does, of redness, in my face. Enjoyed using that. Got it in recently, and I love the Creativentus, which they have as the platinum scent in Fine Accoutrements. And I like the Santal Absolute, which is very similar to the Art of Shaving sandalwood scent from a while back. So here's that Astra blade. We will put another ding. And so now both of these blades, the etched version and the, where are we going to put this ding? We'll start over here. The etched and the inked now have the same amount of uses, and so now I can take this use and remember it. Maybe I'll use the Fat Boy again because that was really nice. Maybe I'll use Mickey Lee again because that slickness was excellent. And sure, they're not as focused back then. They weren't as focused with the aftershave abilities, the moisturization, the post-shave feel. And that's not a big deal for me at all because that's my skin is oily enough. That's what a balm can do if I needed to. The brush felt terrific today. I think I definitely saw a improvement by soaking it for longer. The tips are getting crispy between the shaves, and they're turning, they're hooking just a little, but it definitely doesn't feel very jelly at all. They just kind of get soft and not super soft, but I like it. I like it. This brush from early on has taken on this kind of large bloom, and it's a welcome thing because it takes a little bit of density away from the middle, and it's still a bit of work. I still wonder maybe if this handle's too narrow right here. It doesn't really let me hold it in the right places as comfortably as some other handles out there. If it were a little thicker right here, I think that would be just perfect. But I really think the colors, and who knows, my hand can perhaps adjust to it. So we'll see with time. So the Italian Citrus is a dupe of Acqua di Parma Colonia, and I am definitely enjoying that last few days when I've used it. It does pair nicely. I'm enjoying the combination of the birch tar type scent with the orange and other notes in the Italian Citrus. By the end, I may have loaded for a whole minute, something like that. Might be a guess, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, about 19 milliliters of water was used, and the Fat Boy handled this blade better than others have. And right now, as of right now, that irritation, that light bit of irritation that I told you about, gone, totally gone already. So it would be neat to see if that little bit gets totally kind of works its way out due to the smoothness of using the blade more times. Be interesting to see. Very happy with that shave. The Italian Citrus is a great way to finish it up. Very manly, Unforgiven scent. And then the Italian Citrus kind of brings it back to something light and less heavy. I don't feel like I'm walking around with kind of birch tar and stuff on me, and my family would probably appreciate that. But I'm about to go to bed anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So a neat combo. I did enjoy that. The razor and its feel on my face, the slickness and ease of movement with this Mickey Lee Lather was the big surprise for today. Wow, it felt just terrific. This slickness was, like I said, just like I was on ice, and very smooth, and got the job done in a very comfortable way. Yep, nice, very close cut, even right here. There we go. So tremendous. I even think that I took some almost against the grain strokes right here on that third pass, and the closeness of the cut, the mildness of that setting, the smoothness of the lather is what inspired me to be able to feel like I could do that. So it's a good one today. Thank you, Ash, for joining in. I hope there's something in this shave for you. You guys take care and good night.